When I found this sprouting onion last year, May, I took a photograph of it, which is what we are looking at now. I decided I was going to grow it. I placed it in a pot of soil, just as you see, and it developed roots. After placing this onion in soil like this, it will develop roots and the leaves will grow out. I was not planning to just grow it for the usual 2 to 3 onions, which is what would result by the end of the year. You would have up to about 3 onions as you're seeing in the pot now, which is what happened after a month of it being in the soil. I then placed it in a deeper pot, but I didn't intend to just have 3 onions. So I let it carry on growing, which is to say I did not harvest it last year. I placed it outside and let it carry on growing. When the season changed, the onion went away and became dormant. Then it returned in the new year. After coming back in the new year, I took it and placed it in a bigger bed. Because being in a bigger bed allows the onion to grow bigger. You will be able to observe that there's only 1 onion left. This is because I did not encourage the 3 to remain. So 2 of them went away and we have just 1. This one is now forming a bulb which will turn into a flower. The onion has just got to a stage where it wants to start flowering. As it's flowering now, I'm going to transfer it into a bed so that it gets more nutrients. I started it in this pot just so not lose it inside a big bed because it's just 1. Come along. Please take a minute to subscribe to my channel, Princess Lillian's Gardens, while I plant this in the soil. Thank you. This is the stage at which you put the onion in bags to grow your onions in bags. After placing it in the larger bed, you can see how big it has grown. And that's that large flower bud. Contains a lot of flowers in it. This is what I'm going to be waiting on, looking forward to the flowers that will come. You can see the leaves have started reducing. By now it's June 14th when I'm doing this update, and the bud is starting to break up. You can see there's a break in the skin, and very soon we will see this enlarge more and more until the flowers in there become completely loose. On June 16th, this is what's happened. The flowers are coming out. They're still in buds, separate buds, but you can see there are many flowers on this onion plant. It's in very good sun, so it's able to grow well. It's also got well-draining soil. This allows the onion to grow to its maximum height capacity. The onion is a 2-year plant for it to produce flowers and seeds. That's why I started it last year and it's still growing till this year. You can see now the flowers are out. So the yellow on top of it, those are the pollen sacs with the pollen grains, and I'm shaking it to get the pollen grains out so that we can have pollination. The flowers need to be pollinated. So we have the seeds getting ready to be formed as a result of pollination. The flowers have 6 petals each. This is just a characteristic of monocotyledonous plants, that is single cotyledons. The flowers are in threes, that is 3 petals or 6 petals. Further on, by the 6th of July, the flowers are fully formed. Most of them are now open, and we have pollinators moving around because it can be insect pollinated or wind pollinated. And now it's dry. You can see the flowers are closed and the seeds are growing in there. So we still wait. And here again is the onion. You can see it's actually drying. Let's take a look. Yeah, good. You see that? That's a beetle. You find some beetles living in there, and beetles eat aphids and other things. So if there are any aphids trying to hide in there, the beetles that are there will eat the aphids. The beetle is no problem. It's actually a help being there. So the onion seeds are developing now, and I'll give you further updates again. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. As summer gives way to autumn, it's the 31st of August today, and the onion seeds are here. To see the black seeds. It should be 3 seeds per pod. It has taken this onion plant 2 summers because I planted it in the spring of last year. So the onion is a 2-year plant for it to reach flowering, fruiting, and producing of seeds. I'm now going to try to collect the seeds into this bag. Okay. I will not completely take it off, so that if there are any that still wants to keep maturing, they will at least be left on the plant. But the ones that are properly mature, when I'm doing it like this, they'll be falling off. The wind on its own is actually enough to make them fall off. So this vigorous shape, I've even got some, I'm going to pick them later. And then I will stand it back up and tie it. So I'll come back tomorrow. Yeah, I can still see some seeds here. I'll come back and pick the rest of the seeds. Let's take a look at this. Okay, I'll go and put it in a flat tray. There they are in the tray. There's the chaff. I've got of them. Yes. If you decide to count the seeds, so if I want to count the ones on this corner alone, this is like we have almost 50 seeds. Just this corner. That's 5. That's about 8. 3. That makes it 16. 20. So just this little portion is about 20. So the entire tray all the way. You can see these seeds are actually more than 200. I'll be collecting the rest as the tomorrow. So I'll grow 5 of these seeds just to know the viability. We'll see how many of them will germinate, so I'll know how good these seeds are. And then the experiment will be complete. I can grow them in 2 months' time when we are actually in winter. That's the best time. So it starts this journey again. Okay. There's still some left, so I'll stick it to stay upright. Check again. It should be 3 per pod. It should be 3 seeds per pod. So I'll plant 10 of these seeds to see how viable they are before keeping it for next year. No, not next year. Next planting season for the onions. That's about October. So it's about 2 months' time. And I want to plant the seeds just to check the viability of these seeds. Before my seeds that I planted have started to germinate, I've started to observe, you see, the seeds that have dropped off the onion, they've been self-sown seeds, have already started germinating. I hope you can see the ones that are onions. That's very thin. Yeah, those are onion seeds. And they're germinating. The end of this month, I should have a bed that I can use for sowing my onions for. Because the onions will grow, go away in the winter, and they'll come back again in spring. I cannot determine the viability by percentage at this point because I did not know how many seeds were sown in self-seeding. I would have to determine that by the 10 that I put in the soil by myself. These onion seeds that are self-sown may not survive because it's too early and the weather is still too warm. You can see the tips of the green is already drying up. The only way to grow onions this early is if you're growing it in a greenhouse. It's protected from too much sunlight. A bottle, and there's still a seed. You can see the seed. The ones that fell inside this bottle are still fresh because they are more protected from the sun than these ones where the tips are getting too much sun. And that's why we wait till the weather gets cooler further into the autumn before we start growing onions. I hope you'd be able to grow your own onions either in pots, beds, or bags by creating the seeds and growing them on. It will only take 1 year from seeds to harvest, because then you're just trying to harvest your onions, not creating flowers and seeds. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.